If you are clicking on this video, then it is likely that you need a complete reset on your life in order to achieve the things you want to achieve in your life. It is likely that you are aware that you deserve better and that you can get better in your life. You just don't know how or where to start. And that is why I am suggesting in this video that you move out of your hometown, because that is like the ultimate reset button that you can hit in your life to reset everything. All of your friends gone, all of your family gone, all of your old habits gone with it, your surroundings, every environmental factor is literally just taken, and you can pick and choose who you want and what you want to replace it with. It's literally revolutionary, but it sounds terrifying to most people who have never left their hometown. And that's why I'm making this video, because it's not as scary as it seems, and there's so much benefit in doing it. And so I want to share a little bit about my story of leaving my hometown and how you can get out of yours as well, so that you can move on to bigger and better things, babe. So I moved from a pretty small town in the state of Iowa all the way to the big city of Los Angeles. No, I'm not trying to be an actor or in the entertainment industry of any kind. I just knew that I did not like my surroundings as much as I could, and so I found a better place to go. I did have a little push from one of my closest friends who moved out here for college. All right, so I did have some cushion and it made it a lot easier, but I definitely could have done it without having anyone here. And I encourage you to do so. If you don't have anyone to move with, that is okay. You cannot rely on other people to make big life decisions for you and with you. You need to learn to be alone, and so this is part of pushing you to do that, and it will be life-changing, I promise. So when I first decided to move, especially to the place that I chose to move to, everyone in my little community, like my family and my friends and just anyone that I would talk to, especially like the older people, like people my parents' age, they were so opposed to it. I have no idea why, looking back. They would tell me LA is the most dangerous city. It's disgusting. It's a hellhole. Like, it's a nightmare. The laws are awful. All of this crazy, ridiculous shit. And my mother, who has been so supportive of me my entire life, like literally is my best friend in the entire world, never really said anything cruel to me ever as a child and growing up and into my adult years. Like, everything she said was out of love. But even my mom would be so mean to me when I was in the process of deciding to leave. Like, she told me that I was a copycat and that I just like was doing everything to like be just like my friend, and like she was literally trying to bully me out of going. And I'm sure that part of that was just her fear of losing me, because I would be far away from, like, very far away from her, like not even a car drive, like literally have to fly 8 hours. I'm sure it was mostly that. I understand that, but at the same time, like, the amount of people that were trying to talk me out of it, mostly being my family, or just older generations, that I chose not to believe any of that stuff that I heard and go find out for myself, because I had already visited LA and I knew that it was a good place to live and that it would potentially change my life and my way of thinking. And I was right. But the real reason they had all of these beliefs about Los Angeles was mostly because the people in my hometown deep down believed that they could not afford it. They were too broke and too unskilled to be able to make it work. They were not resourceful enough to figure out how to live somewhere that could provide them with a better quality of life. And they were honestly just super small-minded, like peanut brain, because, okay, that was rude, but they were just like not able to see beyond the scope of their current reality and that tiny little bubble that they lived in and had never left. Like, I know so many people from where I'm from that have never even been on an airplane before. Like, you can't expand your mind without expanding your environment. And so that's why I decided to leave. Sorry, the sun was setting. Okay. Anyways, that leads me to the first benefit that I got from moving that I've seen so far. Oh, I've lived here for like a year and a half now. And actually, my house literally burnt to the ground And then I went home back to the Midwest where I'm from, and I was like, oh fuck, like what am I gonna do? Like how am I gonna be able to afford to go back and pay for all my shit again? And I literally love living here so much to the point where I came back even after my house and my entire like area that I lived in literally burnt to the ground. So that just goes to show, like, move out, girl, like you're gonna be fine, okay? But anyways, the first main reason that, or main benefit that I've seen from moving here has been my expanded mindset and expanded circle, which sounds obvious on the surface, but people from, especially from the Midwest, basically they just go to school, you know, either they finish high school and then go to trade school and become like a plumber or an electrician or, you know, contractor, whatever, and then they live that for the rest of their lives. Like that's my father basically went to trade, or he didn't even go to trade school, he went to like a 2-year college and then didn't use the degree and is now a contractor. Love him, so good for him, he's fine. But same thing with my mom, she actually went to 4 years of school to become a teacher and then didn't use it and now manages a department store that she's been working at for like 20 years. Love my parents, they're fine, they're chilling, but that's just an example I'm using as like people from the Midwest and where I'm from, they think, okay, school or no school, doesn't matter, but we're gonna pick something and then we stick to it. So like you go to school to be a nurse, you're a nurse, then you die. The end. Like you can have little other hobbies and shit in between, but like they don't change their career paths dramatically ever. All right. So the first thing that clicked for me when I moved here was I started like expanding my network and doing all this like wellness shit. And I met this guy who I literally wrote down all of the things that he did. Oh my God, I can't see. He was a DJ, a product photographer, oh my God, I can't read this because of how bright the light is. Oh my God, I'm going blind. Okay, anyways, a product photographer, a children's vocal coach, a mushroom grower, and a botanist. Like, he grew everything, all sorts of mushrooms and everything, like literally everything. Like, everything he ate, he would grow pretty much, like all of his herbs and shit, you know? Like, really good at it. And also a social media manager. And he also, filmed. Like, this man was so diverse in his hobbies and careers, but like he made money from all of those things. All of those things were his career. Now, obviously, if you know anything about business, you got to pick one thing to be like really successful in it. Obviously, you cannot just be spreading your time thin. But my point is like, when I moved here, I started meeting people like that who just completely expanded my mindset because like, what do you mean you have 8 professions? And he is well off. Like, he was fine. He lived in a nice little 2-bedroom, 2-bath situation, balcony, you know, nice little kitchen, had a whole space to do everything. He even had a little workout area and got all of his toys and cool shit going on. Okay, so that expanded my mindset. Like, oh, I don't have to be just a nurse until I die. Like, I can do more than one thing if I want to. Wow, that's insane. Like, I can be a diverse human being. I had no idea. I thought I had to just be one type of person forever. Like, I literally didn't know that. So that, I would say, is probably the main thing that was just revolutionary. And then to build on top of that, also when I moved here, you can just do like whatever the fuck you want, even if you're broke, because people find ways to work around it. And there are just so many people that like, you don't really get shut down by the police as much. And so people have restaurants in their fucking house. They have gyms in their garage. So for me, what me and my friend did here when we first moved, we had a yoga studio on the beach. So like back home, I could have never come up with something like that because first of all, I just like didn't think anything like that was possible. But second of all, like just the way the land is structured, like, and the lack of people that would attend is just so small. And also like the landscape doesn't allow for it. Literally 6 months out of the year, you can't go outside where I'm from, which that's another main reason I left is because what do you mean you can't go outside for 6 months? How is that healthy? No one in their right mind can tell me that it is healthy to not go outside for 6 months. And like, don't get me wrong, you still can go outside, whatever. We would go sledding in the snow and shit, but like every day, fuck no. It is so much work to like put on all this clothes and shit. and go outside, and it's also just not enjoyable. Like, I would not go on walks in the winter, like, if it's cold, which it is for like at least 3 months. That's a long time. That causes depression. What do you mean you don't go outside? Why would you not just move somewhere where you can go outside every day, the whole year, all the time? Like, that seems like a no-brainer to me. I'm just saying. Sounds like a lot more pleasurable. Anyways, we had a yoga studio on the beach that is literally zero cost. Zero cost. There was no cost associated with it. We would use an app called Partyful to get the signups and get people to pay us, and it would go to my Venmo. I'd cash it. Zero cost. Maybe like some taxes. I don't know. I would have never been what the fuck? Where would I just have a free yoga studio? I mean, I guess in a park, but then that's only like 3 months out of the year, and then the other months are literally even those 3 months out of the year, it's like so hot. Like, so hot, you're getting burnt, sweating profusely. Like, no one even wants to go, first of all. Second of all, how am I gonna convince over like 20 people or whatever it takes to have a successful yoga studio situation? How am I gonna convince 20 people every single day to come to multiple classes? Like, there's not even 20 girls my age in the whole fucking, like, okay, that's not true. That was a complete lie. But like, they don't even do yoga. There's probably like 5 people in the whole damn place that do yoga. How am I gonna hunt them down? Like, it's so much more work to hunt down the customers. Here, there's millions of people. You're gonna find the right ones. It's so much easier to find the right people that you need to make your situation successful, and you can attract so many more people that are exactly like you. Like, you don't have to settle for people that don't really get you. They don't really understand you. You can just find exactly who you want to be friends with or be partners with, or like just have in your community in general. And there's so many niches. Like, you can do anything you want. I can go anywhere I want, do anything I want, because someone here created it, you know? Like, so many different things. Like, you know, like the aerial silks. I recently went to that class where it's like a silk rope hung from the sky and you like twist yourself all up in it. There's pole dancing classes. Oh, that leads me to another point. Everyone here is so much more athletic because there's this thing called ClassPass. So fun. You literally just buy credits and then you can go to pretty much any like participating, but like most of them are because they're smart. Any participating gym. There's like open gyms, there's personal training, there's just like all sorts of like soul cycle, yoga, boxing, aerial silk class, salsa dancing. Like, there's literally just like every type of thing you could ever imagine. And so you can really learn what you like and what you don't like and become who you want to be, because you don't have those opportunities, even though it's like silly shit, you know? But as a woman, I find it so fun to go explore and expand my consciousness and meet new people who do crazy different things. Like my 2 roommates that I just moved in with, they do acro yoga. They literally met at salsa dancing and then now they go to acro yoga together. Like, I've never even done acro yoga in my life. Like, you can't do it without a partner either. So if nobody in Iowa wanted to do acro yoga with me, then I guess I can't do it. You know, like, so many more opportunities. And that can lead us into networking. For example, I had someone who allowed me to come into their like storefront space. It was just like a big room with glass on the outside with the door, you know? And literally, she let me and my friend come in there, do yoga classes, and we even had an entire festival, a literal festival, in that space and the parking lot adjacent to it. Like, we just found this girl by going outside. We went to a flea market type of situation, like where they have vendors in tents. That's another thing we don't have in Iowa. We have like farmers markets once a week, only one of them, for like 2 months in the summer when it's like hot enough to be bothered to go outside. That's like not enough opportunity to be meeting people weekly and being able to do whatever you want. We also just get away with so much more here. Like, when I first came here, I went to a literal shroom bar, like magic mushroom bar. Huh? What do you mean? That's crazy. crazy. Like, how are you not getting arrested? I'm so confused. I still don't really get that. Like, is that legal? I don't know, but it was so fun. They had free tattoos. Revolutionary. Oh, and let's talk about how everyone in your hometown is gonna tell you that, oh, like, you can't afford it. You're too broke. Like, how are you ever gonna be able to pay the rent there? Because Los Angeles is considered like one of the most expensive cities in America, obviously. But guess what? I was a waitress at home, right? I'm a waitress here, right? At home, I made $23 an hour, like on average, roughly. Here, I make 47, right? So that's 2x, okay? At home, this is not what I paid for rent because I lived like in a really shitty building, but like an apartment equivalent to the apartment that I live in now in Los Angeles in Iowa was like $800. I know because I just looked up my friends who like kind of give similar vibes to my apartment here. No, let's say like $700. Let's be conservative, okay? $700 for rent in a similar situation. My rent is now $1,600. That's like 1.87 times as much. So if you compare it to my income, like the rent is actually less. Does that make sense? So like $23 an hour to 47 was I make 2 times more, but the rent is only 1.87 times more. And yes, of course, there's a bunch of other costs associated and taxes, but like, it's roughly the same, relatively, right? Like, come on. I mean, I get it. Yeah, okay, maybe you're gonna be a little bit more broke, all right? You're not gonna be able to save as much, but what the fuck are you saving for anyways? To freeze in your house forever? Like, what are you saving for? Because I'm spending that extra money living in a place where people love to vacation. There's palm trees. I walk down the street and I can pick passion fruit, kumquat, kiwis, bananas, avocados. I can just pick that fruit off the tree. I can walk to the beach. I can walk to the Venice canals. All right. I can go climb mountains every day if I want to. Like literal state parks. That's what I'm paying the extra fucking, what do you even, $50 a month for? Oh, but I can't afford $50 a month. Like, huh? It's so worth it because now my mental health is improving. And guess what happens when you improve your mental health drastically? You can make more money, right? Wouldn't you agree? So don't listen to the people that are like, oh, it's so expensive. You're gonna make more money. That's how people afford to live here. They just make more money relatively. Like, the minimum wage is higher. And if that's not even the case, girl, whatever, you're gonna make more money because you have the thought in your brain that you can, and you'll believe in yourself more in a city that you love, where you're surrounded by rich people also. You're surrounded by wealthy, loaded motherfuckers. There's literally like, I'm a waitress, right, at a very nice hotel. I talk to people, I probably talk to a billionaire every day. Like, that energy has to be rubbing off onto me, right? The last point I'm going to make is about your habits. If you have bad habits, like drinking, doom scrolling, sleeping in, fucking people you're not like dating to marry, you know what I mean? Like casual sex, that's the word. Sorry. Smoking weed, sleeping in, whatever. If you have bad habits, those are all my bad habits, just so you know. And you want to get rid of them, but you're finding it nearly impossible to get rid of them because of your degenerate friends, your degenerate family. Didn't even mention sugar, fast food, all that type of shit, right? The reason you can't get rid of these habits is because everyone in your surroundings normalizes it and also does the same exact habits. And so if you are to decide one day, oh, I don't want to do any of those habits anymore, I'm going to change myself and I'm going to be a better person and I'm going to be good, it's going to be like impossible, babe, because everyone around you does it. So in order to change all of those things about yourself, you are going to have to be so outside of your like peer group and your community. Everyone is going to judge you, which, you know, it's all fun to say like, oh, don't worry about other people's opinions of you, but we are literally wired to worry about other people's opinions of us. Like, we do not want to be outcasted. Like, that's just a normal human behavior that stems from caveman days. Like, you don't want to be alone. You don't want to have to fight off a bear alone. You don't want to have to be, especially a woman, like, you don't want to have to go hunt down your own food. That's just ingrained in us, right? Like, you do not want to just have no one. And that's what's going to happen to you if you try to change everything about yourself for the better when you're surrounded by people that can't do that. They're going to put you down. Plain and simple as that. Like, you might be able to, and I fucking applaud you for that, but it's going to be a million times easier if you just cut out all of that at once, forcefully, and then move somewhere where you can rebuild everything. And so then you can never go back, right? So when you move, you develop higher standards, and once those standards are set, it is so hard to go back down. Your brain just like won't allow you. Like, it feels so wrong to just allow yourself to go back to your old ways. But I noticed, I just recently went home after my house burnt down because I was homeless. But I wasn't homeless, sorry, that's disrespectful. But, you know, I didn't have a house in the state that I was in, so I went home. And I went right back into my old habits. Now, obviously, some of that is me being a little bit depressed because, like, my house just burnt down. So that's kind of a little bit traumatic. But while I was still here, because I was here for like 5 days after it happened. And while I was still here in LA, my habits were still fun. I was still exercise. I was like making it a point to exercise and take care of myself, especially like more than I was before, because, you know, I need to take care of my mental health. So I was doing everything like journaling, meditating, eating healthy, all that stuff. The second I went back home, poof, slept for like 16 hours straight, doom scrolled for like 5 hours, drank every single day, smoked weed. I even vaped. Like, what? If you know me, like, that is disgusting to me. Like, I did that when I was 16 for like a year before I was like, ew, what the fuck? So the fact that I hit someone's vape is literally astonishing to me. I would never do that in LA. I've never done that in LA. I've never been like, ooh, can I hit that? Like, let me just see what it's like. What the fuck? Anyways, once you move somewhere, you reset your standards, and it's somewhat tied to location, at least from my point of view, because the second I was back with my family, with my old friends, and in the same place that I was before, all my old habits came back. I don't know, like, I'm just saying. Like, maybe you have more willpower than me, but that's just my experience, all right? So when you move, you can literally just choose to be an entirely different person. You can live in a different place. You can build entirely new habits. Like, you can decide to sign up for a specific gym. You can choose to only be friends with people who meet certain criteria. You can choose to only get a job if it meets your criteria, your standards, you know. You get my point. You can just like reset, wipe your brain, and the new environment just allows you to do that. I don't know the science behind that, but trust me, I am a completely different person in terms of my daily habits and who I bring around in my circle when I'm here. It's literally night and day. Stop being a pussy and just move out. Trust me, you'll make it work. You'll find a way. You are a strong, independent person, and it's gonna fucking suck in some aspects, all right? You're gonna be lonely. But guess what? It's better to be lonely than to sit complacently where you've been at for years and years and years and never try to expand. Like, you know that you're destined for greater things. I know you know. So go get those things. Go out there and do what you came on this earth to do, okay? Love you.